was when the gang just took over, man. I mean, when they took over, they took over. The only way the feds had to bust Robert Taylor project, they had to wait. See, they 24 hours. They was 24 hours. Some way, somehow, the feds got up on the roof and waited till the motherfuckers opened up in the morning and came down on them because they couldn't come in. You ain't coming in on them niggas, man. You wasn't coming in on them. They run that shit.
Along the south corridor of Chicago once stood a kingdom of concrete. 28 high-rise towers, each 16 stories tall, stretched nearly 2 miles down State Street. This was the Robert Taylor Homes, the largest public housing development in the United States. To some, it was a promise of opportunity. To others, it became a symbol of urban failure. For those who lived there, it was home. Built with hope, undone by neglect, and remembered for both its resilience and its turmoil, the story of Robert Taylor Homes is as complex as Chicago itself. The name behind the towers carried weight. Robert Rochon Taylor, the first African-American chairman of the Chicago Housing Authority, believed in decent housing as a pathway to dignity. He fought for modern units, indoor plumbing, and green courtyards for working black families long confined to overcrowded slums. His vision shaped the project that bore his name, completed in 1962. At first, it was a success. The rent was affordable, the apartments new. Thousands of black families escaping deteriorating housing saw Robert Taylor as a fresh start. For a moment, the dream was alive. But overcrowding, budget shortfalls, and decades of disinvestment from City Hall set the stage for decline. What was meant to uplift began to isolate.
Childhood, serene images of simple games, innocent faces, safe places. We hold it as fundamental that the children of this world have a sacred right to a childhood. But day in and day out in this country and around the world, many of our children will be robbed of that right, robbed because they are victims of a violent circumstance. Do you hear a lot of shooting around here? Do you hear gunfire around here very much?
A lot in my sleep. Because I can be up in my sleep and I hear a gunshot and I wake up and then I get scared.
You know somebody who got shot?
My daddy.
Your daddy got shot?
He gone.
Did he die?
Yes.
As conditions worsened, new powers filled the vacuum. Gangs rose to dominate the towers. The Black Disciples, Gangster Disciples, and Mickey Cobras carved territories out of entire buildings. The long hallways and vacant apartments became perfect strongholds, drug markets, lookout posts, and battlegrounds. If you didn't belong, you didn't walk through those doors. Rooftops became sniper points. Vacant units became stash houses. Curfews were enforced, not by the police, but by gang leaders who controlled who could enter and who could not. In places like The Hole, near 53rd Street, the Mickey Cobras operated openly. Across other towers, rivalries between the disciples often turned violent. Tragedy followed when children were killed by stray bullets and even objects thrown from rooftops. Grieving mothers marched with the child's casket in protest, forcing the city to acknowledge the crisis within the walls of the Taylor.
Sworn to uphold the law may have been breaking it today. The police in question were searching for weapons without search warrants in one of America's most dangerous public housing projects, the Robert Taylor Homes. Fox News has been reporting this story all week, and tonight Sean Daly shows us what the potentially illegal searches have produced.
The police were back at it for a third straight day, raiding apartments at the Robert Taylor Homes, searching for illegal weapons and finding plenty of them. This is their catch, 14 dangerous weapons.
But they'll go straight through the front, through you, and out the back.
What legitimate purpose is there for that?
That's a legitimate hunting purpose for large game, but not...
We don't have deer running around 47th and State Street.
These searches for weapons may be illegal because the police don't have search warrants, but the chairman of Chicago's Housing Authority is conducting them anyway.
We don't think what we're doing is illegal.
Vince Lane is angry because workers installing window guards are being threatened by gangbangers who think the workers are interfering with their drug business. Lane plans to justify the searches to a judge next week. His argument, the gangbangers are urban terrorists, no different from terrorists who issue bomb threats.
When there's a bomb threat in a building, they don't go get a warrant to say, can we look for the bomb? protect life and limb, they go and they search the building for the bomb. And that's what I'm doing with these weapons.
But outside, several young men question the strategic value of the raids.
Only way they can keep us from getting them done is they got to make a stricter law. They need to have tougher gun laws to control it to where we won't be able to access these guns, and then they won't have to worry about so much of the shooting and the violence that's going on.
Some residents complain about losing their privacy, but others like the idea of the raids. Do you worry about the guns in here?
Oh, well, yeah, a lot of stuff goes in. I worry about it here. How the kids gonna carry on?
I'm sorry?
I said, how they carry on?
Whether the judge decides the searches are legal or illegal, for now, they're getting a lot of attention here. Sean Daly, Fox News, Chicago.
Security is tight today at Robert Taylor Homes as contractors who were trying to install window bars to keep children from falling out are going back to work. They'd been fired on by snipers, and now the CHA is taking heat for the way it responded to those attacks. The problem is the security sweep conducted by the CHA yesterday was illegal. As Channel 5's Emmett Miller reports, the officers did not have a search warrant.
Today at the Robert Taylor Homes, general maintenance sweeps. A small army of policemen just outside the door. Yesterday at Robert Taylor, a sweep of a different sort.
Yesterday, I know they recovered, the CHA recovered a rifle and quite a lot of narcotics paraphernalia, including, rock cocaine and marijuana and scales and bullets.
Not a single warrant having been issued, the CHA admits the search of 4500 South State Street was illegal. And while the ACLU has filed lawsuits against searches of this sort, the CHA says certain situations make them necessary. Situations like Tuesday's attack on outside contractors.
They were installing some of the child protection devices in the windows, and there was apparently some shots fired and some threats made at the subcontractors. 4
people were arrested on weapons charges. Guthrie says the problem stems from a rival gang war between these two buildings, 4441 and 4500, where the shooting took place. Residents tell us the child guards somehow stopped them from shooting at one another.
And they say they can't shoot out the window because this up there.
That's why they don't want them guards up, because they want to shoot out the window at us.
Today, 4525 will be the last buildings scheduled to be swept at Robert Taylor Homes. The CHA has filed a motion in federal court seeking after-the-fact approval for the warrantless searches. Some residents are just happy to see the police there.
If they can get all these drugs out of here and all these drug dealers, it'd be better.
Certain motherfuckers, when the projects was up in Chicago, you had relatives you ain't saw in years because your building fighting against that building, man. And ain't no way you going over there. And ain't no way they coming over there. That's how crazy it was. That's why they knocked the projects down. And when they knocked them down, that spread them motherfuckers across the city, man. Now here it is. You got a project. You was running that building for 15, 20 years. The city took your building down. That's your money. You ain't finna stop your money, is you? You finna set war. I need that set over there, man. I need that money.
Yeah.
But that's GDs over there.
Any means.
That's it. And that's how it was, man.
And yet, daily life was more than violence. Inside Robert Taylor, families built community. Neighbors looked after one another. Children found joy in games and school, despite the danger outside. Many residents remember block parties, barbecues, and the feeling of belonging that only those who lived there could understand. It wasn't just buildings, it was home. They survived. Even gangs sometimes played a paradoxical role, handing out school supplies, sponsoring parties, and providing a sense of order in the absence of government support. Sociologists who studied Taylor found the gangs acted almost like informal governments, creating a system of both protection and control. By the 1980s, the Robert Taylor homes were under siege. Police raids were constant. CHA fenced off stair rails with metal grates, trying to contain crime. Politicians promised reform, but the deeper issues, poverty, segregation, and neglect, remained untouched. In 1993, the Federal Hope Program launched. Chicago's plan for transformation promised to tear down fallen high-rises and replace them with low-rise, mixed-income developments. Robert Taylor was at the top of the list. By the early 2000s, the towers were empty one by one. families were relocated across the city and suburbs, many separated from the networks that had held them together so long. In 2007, the last of the Robert Taylor homes was demolished. The largest public housing project in America was erased from the skyline. What replaced them? Legend South was smaller, newer, and marketed as mixed income, but only a fraction of the families who once lived there returned. Though the towers are gone, their legacy endures, in music, in memory, in the stories of those who survived them. To outsiders, Robert Taylor became a cautionary tale of urban planning gone wrong. To insiders, it was a world of family, resilience, and identity. The Robert Taylor homes were never just bricks. They were life stacked in 16-story towers. They were struggle, survival, and spirit. The towers may be gone, but the stories remain. Brick by brick, they are remembered.